Whoever drinks of the water that I will give him shall never thirst, but the water that I will give him shall become in him a well of water, springing up to eternal life. That living water, hey, hey, that living water, hey, hey, that living water. I grew wiser and I'm seeing now that God sees all. I seek the righteous in his sight, there's no way I could fall. Pop my head's up, now that I'm seeing the sky's the limit. Biggie, I'm still overflow if you just rim it, feel me? One of the few that still do it with the spirit, send me. So all my true soldiers got to get with me. And go, it's through his grace and mercy. He walk out the room full of enemies, no blood on his feet. Nah, they under me, they transform into footstools. That's good news for the hood to rule. While still living the earth, God blew in the dirt. And these fools is insecure, lower than they worth, they hurt. And that's just soft little success. I do my best, he do the rest. Feeling no stress, haters sending demons against me, and it's a slaughter. They need help, I'm Mike Phelps in living water. Try harder, daily we die for that living water. Hey, so we can come alive in that living water. Hey, your enemies slaughter to this living water. Yeah, 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 no borders to this living water. Yeah, yeah, daily we die for that living water. Hey, so we can come alive in that living water. Hey, your enemies slaughter to this living water. Yeah, 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 no borders to this living water. Bask in his presence, doubt and depression can't last in his presence. Found my path in his presence. Just praise, you don't have to ask when he's present. For you are now connected with heaven, running with blessings. I'm a death for bitter, it shivers, it's like my slaughter. Flow like the river, I'm planted by these waters. With wells and dry places, and life in more faces. Ain't nothing can replace this, living without borders. Bursting with the life of the Lord. Hold up, even if we're chased by swords, the Red Sea was only dry cause it was time for the redeemed to walk through. So walk through, straight to your breakthrough. Let the wells overflow, overtake you. And if you need a refill, Elam awaits you. You can rest there, we rest here cause his presence is Elam. Praise him now even if you don't feel him, and watch us come alive. Daily we die for that living water, so we can come alive in that living water. Hey, your enemies slaughter to this living water. Yeah, 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 no borders to this living water. Yeah, yeah, daily we die for that living water. Hey, so we can come alive in that living water. Hey, your enemies slaughter to this living water. Yeah, 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 no borders to this living water. He who believes in me, as the scripture said, from his innermost being shall flow rivers of living water. And in that day, living waters will flow out of Jerusalem. Half of them toward the eastern sea, and the other half toward the western sea. And it'll be in summer as well as in winter. And the Lord will be king over all the earth. And in that day, the Lord will be the only one, and his name, the only one. And then he showed me a river of the water of life, as clear as crystal, coming from the throne of God and of the Lamb. And in the middle of the street, on either side of the river, was the tree of life, bearing 12 kinds of fruit. And it yielded its fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. My God, that water is alive. My God. So always take the time to bask in his presence. Doubt and depression can't last in his presence. Found my path in his presence. Just praise, you don't have to ask when he's present. For you are now connected with heaven, running with blessings. I'm a death for bitter, it shivers, it's like my slaughter. Flow like the river, I'm planted by these waters. With wells in dry places, and life in more faces. Nothing can replace this life with no borders.
Hey, we in here. Welcome. This is Real Talk 101, The Devil Exposed on a Sunday afternoon, 2 to 4 p.m. here at U Broadcast Media. As you can see, the hosts are in the house. My name is Brad Trammell. Mr. Orlando Boyd is right there. And if this is your first time joining us, what we do here on a week-to-week basis is we discuss the past week's revelations, conversations, prayers, the things that we've read out of the Word, any communication that we've had with the Most High Yahuwah. and what he has revealed to us through his spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, and the things that he has enlightened us about, because from him comes all wisdom, all knowledge, and all truth. So if you have anybody leading you into truth and you kind of worried about conspiracy theorists and the stuff people say online, the best source to go to is the Father, because he will never lie to you, but you must approach it with sincerity. And when we do that on a week-to-week basis, he not only shows us bits and parts of himself and his plan, but he also exposes the enemy and how he ceaselessly and restlessly goes throughout all his days attacking us, throwing up different types of obstructions, getting us to not believe, in different types of spiritual attacks to all those who trust in the Most High. And when he exposes that, we can actually see what he's doing. And what we do is we come on here to share about it. We open up usually with a prayer request, word of prayer, have testimonies, then we go right into the message, man. And, there's one thing I want everybody to do. I want you to say a silent prayer to yourself if you're watching us, and ask for the indwelling of the Holy Spirit through Ruach HaKodesh. And it's going to be imperative that you have him to accompany you as you listen to us, because we can be telling you anything. We can be reading to you anything. But let him be the discerner on what is true and what is false. And if you hear him speak or move upon your heart, respond, because it will be to your benefit. How you doing today, bro? How's it going?
It's going. It's going, man. You know, blessed as usual to be breathing. Be in the land of the living, man. I got a testimony in regards to how the Most High interacts with me. You know, but I'm gonna wait till after prayer to really go into that. But as far as prayer requests, I know Ruth had asked for some prayer. I'm having with some of her family members. I mean, yeah, I know what you're doing. We all are under attack.
Yes,
you know what I'm
indeed.
saying? And whether if you're not under attack, then something's not right. If everything is going smooth and you ain't got no issues right now, then you're asleep, or that means the enemy ain't worried about you, which ain't a good thing. Yeah, I'm gonna stop bashing certain things, but I recognize what the delusion does. You know, a delusion and an illusion. You know, illusion, you think you're seeing something. Delusion, you're trapped
In it.
You know what I'm saying? So my man can sleep with his eyes open. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll be asleep, snoring and everything, but his eyes are slightly open. So can you imagine being asleep, but you're looking at something? You know what I'm saying?
Imagine.
So it's a lot of people that sleep and they appear to be up because their eyes are open. But and we're gonna get into that too. How that really looks, you know, being asleep, but your eyes are open. But my prayer request is that, you know, for those who want to know the truth, right, but are scared to let go of tradition, that the Most High will make them aware of how the enemy is trying to slide elements of truth into this traditional delusion to further keep you in the delusion, where the Most High says, come away from it all. You know, just because his name gets slid in there, or just because some Sunday keepers start talking about the Saturday Sabbath, or just because, you know, certain aspects of truth are being revealed, if you don't accept it in its entirety and come out of that system, like Revelation tells us to, you still fall in that category of people that said, man, didn't we do this in your name? And he said, depart from me, we never knew you. Just because, again, we'll get into that after prayer if the Most High sees fit. But yeah, just he's removing the strong delusion. The enemy sees his trump card has been, that trump card has been played. He ain't got nothing else. Now that we all know who the Most High Yahweh is, we understand his name, he's factoring his name into all types of mess you see on the internet. You got a lot of different types of preachers and different types of organizations, what they call it, this is one journal called the Jewish Jesus, right? The Jewish Jesus, it's a program, I don't really watch it, but it's a rabbi. He'll use the name Yeshua. He'll say Yahweh, you know what I'm saying? But he's referring Yeshua to Jesus. Like they're the same person. Jesus is Jewish. It's a lot of mess still intertwined, where if you don't have a true desire, not to just know, but to be different and acceptable in the Most High's eyes, that's why you got to step away from it, all across the board. And that's what my testimonies in that job like be about. But yeah, just in short, the Most High Yah will not only continue to wake us up, but give us discernment as to what aspects of truth do we need? I mean, we all need to receive it all, but like the enemy's trying to play games with it. So we'll be diligent in our discerning or in our seeking, and we'll know. We'll be able to see the deception. You know what I'm saying? We're waking up about the delusion, but the deception is still very much so there. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to see it for what it is, flat out, and know.
It's going to continue to get revealed, too, till the Most High destroys it completely in the sight of the world, which is what he is going to do. And he reserves that right for himself because he himself let it persist strongly as long as he let it go. The entire world is wandering after it. They think that they know. When it comes to be a forest where so many people have placed their trust and belief and their faith, and it turns out to be fickle and nothing, that's going to be a hard pill to swallow. That's why people are waking up to truth now, so they'll be prepared for that, because they'll know. They ain't going to be affected by the grand exposing. We see it day by day, the iniquities of men in places of religious authority. We see it. Principalities and powers and spiritual wickedness in high places. They ain't talking about political, worldly, religious, every high place. They running it, but they're being allowed to, so that the consummation can come. We all best get ready. And I say that continually because it's a process to continue to be ready day by day. Praying to Yahuwah that you be counted worthy. My prayer request is similar to O's in the point where the spiritual attacks are increasing. They should be. I'm looking at it like that. It's not something I'm going to complain about, but it's like the prayer request is for endurance and understanding from the lessons learned. Because the lessons learned, that's where you get wisdom. You know, growing up, I'm thinking, I always used to think in my 20s, 30s, manhood is about how many chicks I smash, how long I can party. If I can out-drink you, if I can out-smoke you, or if I know more basketball or football stats, I'm a man, and I'm more of a man because I know these things. Foolishness. All of it. As men get older, we become wiser, and we get better with age. I really believe that, because if you a man and you ain't learning from the mistakes that you have made to have wisdom and be able to grasp upon it, it's an issue. Remain in a boyhood type mindset, man. We quote the verse a lot. It said, when I was a child, I thought as a child, acted as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. It's such a powerful, powerful verse, man. And I'm pleased at the men that we have become through the grace and mercy of Yahuwah.
Well,
day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. We only going to continue to get better and more knowledgeable until his return. But that's essentially my prayer request. So let's go ahead and offer up a word of prayer. And we're going to get into some testimonies. Lord Yahuwah, Almighty, Elohim of heaven and earth, the one who was, who is, and who is to come, the creator of everything that we see, including the ability to see, which is our eyes. You created all of our senses. The very hair, Ezra said, if the very hairs on my head all had voices and all my members had mouths, I still wouldn't be able to give you the amount of praise that you duly deserve on a daily basis. Enoch talks about the fact that there is singing and praise and lauding and glorifying and extolling of the holy name of Yahuwah 24/7, 365. Such wonderful music that it cannot be put into description. And yet, Father, you will hear the prayer of the servant who is speaking before you now. You will look down from that mighty throne on high, which fires, rivers of fires proceed out of, where there is a rainbow that reflects a color of emerald, causing the northern lights, with the four creatures who are underneath the throne singing glory, 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 holy, holy, holy. All that going on, and you hear this prayer. That's wild, man. My cousin told me something the other week, and I know it was because of you. He said the prayer that Yahusha prayed right before he called Lazarus to come forth was very simple, and it was very short. He said, Father, I thank you that you always hear me. And then he called him forth. So, Father, I'm thankful that you always hear me and my brother O. I'm thankful that you know us, that you knew us before you placed us in these vessels that we so sick of. We do not love our lives unto the death like so many people in this world currently do, because that's all they have. That's all the hope is for. But we know what is coming. And it has been labeled as eternity. And that's what we want to be a part of. The only glory we seek after is the one that the kingdom can offer, the one that you bestow upon your servants. Because ain't nobody getting up in there skating. Ain't going to be no free ride. The road is narrow, it's straight, it's hard, it's rough. and those that make it will have accomplished something of merit for the glory that you will bestow upon them. So that's the road we taking, because I ain't going to be looking side to side and see those who died for their faith in you. Not having seen the promise, but died and went to sleep knowing that they were going to receive something better. I want to fall in that number. We both want to fall in that number. May we all fall in that number, especially Yasharal. Father, you know the things that are going on in between us, with us, our sisters, Ruth, Jen, Meech, Candace, Maxine. Thinking about our parents, our families, thinking about all those who we minister to on a regular basis. There's so many things going on right now, so many hurts, so many inside battles that we ain't even telling nobody else, but you see it all. And you give us strength and endurance day by day to continue to press on and continue to make it, because it's not who makes it, who's not to the race is not given to the swift or the strong, but he that endureth until the end. We got to endure. That's all this is about, making it. And we give you praise, honor, and glory that we're able to sit before you today at this desk yet again to do the work that you have commissioned for us to do before we were even here. We thank you for that. All praises to your glorious name, Yahuwah. Continue to wake your people up. Continue to disperse knowledge of truth and to awaken the minds, hearts, and souls of those who are still slumber, who you allowed to slumber. And you have your own perfect timing of how everything should happen. And you yourself said in your word that Yasharah will be saved. And I read just this week that those who were in this delusion and had such a connection with it, that you will have mercy and grace upon them when Yasharah is called forth. Because you know all of this, man. It blows my mind how encompassing your mind is of all the situations. Because you knew this before you even created the world, before you even created the earth. Throngs of the angels, all the creatures, all the elements, yea, even the angels. You knew all this. So we sit here in contemplative thankfulness as we dive back in your word to give a word to your people yet again. Continue to meet our needs as you see fit, but we are of more value than crows and sparrows and flowers of the field, and you know these things. You know what we need. Continue to sustain us. Give us more opportunities to show people your character, your love, your guidance. Let us always be willing to have a word for our fellow man or woman, a word of encouragement, because we all need it. Have us always be willing to give, whether it be a bit of our physical strength, a little bit of money, a little bit of food, a little bit of clothing, whatever it is, and the opportunity comes, let us recognize it immediately for what it is and answer the call yet again to build up the honor that is in the kingdom. For you said, giving alms, doing good deeds, showing people love, following the rules of the Sermon on the Mount that Yahusha had when he preached that marvelous sermon. When we do these things, we lay up for ourselves treasures in the kingdom, when which they are weighed in a balance with our sins and iniquities, they come up way more heavier. And that's what we want to do. We want to pile up that side, because we know our wickedness is amazing. And if you judged us without your mercy, for all the things that we've done, woe be unto every man alive. That's what the word says also. But you choose not to do it. And at least I know for one thing, for our sakes, the ones sitting at this table, for our sakes alone, you will be called merciful if we make it. For our sakes alone, you will be called merciful. And that's what we thank you for. The water. Ooh. Let your holy Ruach HaKodesh descend upon us yet again one more time. We're going to do what you ask us to do. Forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
So, man, this week I ran back through Enoch. I finished, second Esdras. It was second Esdras. I finished second Esdras like last weekend. Most High has me in the prophecy books. And then he told me 2 nights ago, he's like, after you finish Enoch, I want you to jump back into Daniel. I ain't read Daniel in a minute, so I'm excited for that. I have not touched Daniel in years. And then probably after that, it'll be Revelation, but I'll wait to see what the Most High say. But as I'm progressing through Enoch, shout out to Jen and Ruth for progressing through Enoch as well. They had a little bit of joke. They said, they told me yesterday, they said, when we talked to Brad, he probably going to be in chapter 78, 80, something like that after what I was like, I was close. I went to 70. But I'm not saying this as an accolade to myself. It's just the word is a page turning like a mug, man. When the spirit of wisdom is sitting on you and you reading and he's opening up your mind, it's like, dang, I ain't never understood it like this before. What else is about to happen in the next chapter? What else are you going to open my mind up to? And just like Neo in the Matrix, when he got plugged into that chair the first time and he was learning all that kung fu stuff, he wanted to stay there and just get filled up. He's like, and the engineer was like, man, this brother's been going for like 16 hours straight. That's how it can get when you're getting wisdom straight from the source, man. And I experienced several victories and several defeats this week.
Can I?
Oh, yeah, please.
Since you referenced the Matrix, right?
Right.
This is what came to my mind. Neo came too cocky.
Oh,
Said, I know kung fu.
That's right.
Morpheus said,
Show me.
Hey, so we sit there. This is not reference to you. But as we dig and dig and dig and dig and dig, and then we come out of it like we know something, and the boss say, show me. And until that's why these pastors with this BS master divinity, you can't stand toe-to-toe with y'all, never will be able to. You know what I'm saying? It's all about continuing to seek, continuing to learn, continuing to grow.
100, man. This week, when I was reading, I got to chapter 42 and 43, and they're real short in Enoch. Chapter 42 is where I started. It's probably one of my favorite chapters in the book. It's only 2 verses long. But what it describes is something that's very profound, and it causes you almost to like drop your head in shame because of the situation that we all know that we're in, how we all deal with iniquity and with sin. And it says, wisdom found not a place where she could inhabit. Her dwelling, therefore, is in heaven. Wisdom went forth to dwell among the sons of men. This is in the beginning. The sons of men, when they fresh. Adam is fresh kids, Cain, when it said it went to dwell with the sons of men, but she obtained not a habitation, meaning she obtained not a place to dwell among men. Nobody was accepting wisdom. But then it gets worse, and it says, wisdom returned to her place and seated herself in the midst of the angels. But iniquity went forth after her, who unwillingly found a habitation. Iniquity came out after wisdom, unwillingly found a habitation amongst men. And it says, and resided among them as rain in a desert and as dew in a thirsty land. Meaning we craved iniquity. And it gives credence to the scripture that says, all the thoughts and actions of men was evil continually. We craved iniquity. And that's how we see it today. Ain't nobody think about the Most High. Ain't nobody think about doing his way for real. Can anybody recite the commandments? Did anybody know one commandment? And I think about how it is today and how being devoid of wisdom, we just gravitate toward iniquity. It seems like they're the opposites of each other. Wisdom, you could say foolishness, but iniquity is foolishness. So those could be synonymous. But the true chapter that gave me peace was the chapter next to that. Because I had a couple defeats this week. I actually spoke to a couple people over the phone that the Most High impressed me to reach out to. And also, I want to pause and make this little commercial here. If you have somebody that crosses your mind who you haven't talked to in a while, and the spirit, the Ruach, Hagadesh, because it ain't going to be the enemy, inspires you to reach out to this person and just check on them, see how they doing, give them a word of encouragement. Whatever it is, if you do it in benevolence and out of love, if he's leading you to do that, it will behoove you to do it. Because not only will it lay up works of righteousness for you, but it'll be a blessing to both that person and yourself. And that happened to me this week. And I do things so that the Most High sees them, so I'm not going to go into too many detail. But when I read 43, it says, I beheld another splendor. Now, let me explain what's happening. Enoch is walking in vision with an angel. And he's viewing the many mysteries and secrets of heaven. So he says, I beheld another splendor and the stars of heaven. So right there's a division. There's splendor and the stars. They're separate. Keep this in mind. It's going to play into what I'm about to say. And it says, I observed that he, who is Yahuwah, called them all by their respective names and that they heard. I don't know about you, but I see a star, and I see a star as a non-human object, of course. Non-animal, non-mammalian, non-sea, non-bird. It's a star. But this thing says it heard. So the star has power to hear, or can hear the voice of its creator, which makes sense. Continuing on, he says, in a righteous balance, I saw that he, Yahuwah, weighed out with their light the amplitude of their places. So with the light, he measured for each of them the amplitude, meaning the places they were to be set, and the day of their appearance and their conversion. This is all in chapter 43 of Enoch. Again, splendor produced splendor. And their conversion was into the number of the angels, and of the faithful. So we already know the number of the angels is at least thousands upon thousands and 10,000 upon 10,000, because that's just what's around his throne. And then we know the number of the faithful is going to be as the sand of the seashore. So because of those two numbers, that's an innumerable amount. And these are the numbers of their conversions. I'm going somewhere with this. Then he says, then I inquired of the angel who proceeded with me and explained to me the secret things. And I said, what were their names? And he answered, he said, look, what you are seeing is just a similitude, which means a similarity of what you've already seen. They are the names of the righteous who dwell upon the earth and who believe in the name of Yahuwah Sabaoth forever and ever. Simple and plain. Now the chapter should be over right there, but then the Spirit was like, go back and read again what the Most High did with each and every star and watch what happens. So I'm going to go back, first verse, and it says, in a righteous balance, I saw that he weighed out with their light the amplitude of their places. Everybody who believes in the Most High, truly from their heart, has an appointed place that they should be in their life, appointed environment. I always ask myself, why ain't I living in Florida? I went down to Orlando last month with my family. I was like, why don't I live down here? It's just, the weather's great. You got beaches, fine women. I was like, I'd have been married down there. You know what I'm saying? And I think that to myself, and then I read verses like this. It's just like, nah, he didn't have me. He didn't appoint me to be down there. He appointed me to be right where I am and to allow the amplitude of my light to shine in the position that I'm in. Meaning if I was out of position or somewhere else, my light possibly couldn't reach as far as it's supposed to because I've been crowding up on somebody else. He appointed the place and the amplitude of my light. That's the first thing. Think about it in the terms of yourself as well. Then he says, and the day of their appearance. You may not be known right now. You may have people in your family or friends who don't know about the truth that you know, who don't know about the faith that you have. Maybe because you've been keeping quiet. Maybe it's because you haven't had the opportunity. But right here it says he marks the day of their appearance, meaning at one point you are going to come to fulfill the purpose that the Most High has for you. And when you do, he is going to expect exactly what he put in you to come all the way out because his word does not return unto him void. That brought me comfort. But then the last one, which is probably my favorite. It says he balanced their conversion. And I had to look this one up. Conversion means change, constant change. Then the Spirit took me, he says, when you go to the pond or a lake and you agitate the waters, you see all the ripples? Those are conversions in the lake. Those are changes in the lake. No ripple pops up in the same place and it spreads out and goes to places you can't even see. These are conversions. Same thing with a star. When we see a star at night, it twinkles, it shines. It looks like it's moving even though it's as far as it is. And when you have a telescope, you can really see what that joint looks like. But then he brought it back to me in my circumstance. He was like, man, you ain't the same dude you was a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, a decade ago, 20 years ago. You're not the same person. You are constantly going through conversions. So all the difficulties that you face during the week, every time you meet them, whatever your decision may be, it's a conversion because you've had another experience. You've had another opportunity to learn. You've had another opportunity to grow. And every time, no matter what decision you make, you conversion. You either conversion back negatively or positively. It's one or the other, but you are a constant flux. You are going through your conversions. And that's necessary because you're going to be going through those conversions until the day of your appearance. And when he broke that down to me, I was just thankful because of the fact that the Most High truly has all of us in the palms of our hands. And everything we have done, everything we are going to do has been appointed. It's not going to take him off guard. Whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're going through, it's not surprising him. But it's all built to have you focus upon him, to learn of him. Because what is life? To know the one true Yah. So if you are caught up in your own conversions and you can't figure things out why they're not going the way you want them to go, what are you going to do? That's the challenge I lay down to you today. It's the challenge I lay down for myself and for all those who I've told this to. It's very important. But everything is appointed, and there's no reason why we shouldn't have trust and faith in our Father moving forward. Because the stars are a similitude of us, as said in the Word. I got on it. That brought peace on my mind early, man. I can't even tell you. It was a blessing.
What did you say wisdom did?
Oh, man. First thing she did, she looked for a habitation among men, but then she returned.
Because she couldn't find nothing?
Couldn't find not one habitation. She left heaven. Mm-hmm.
But What was the other one that went out there?
Iniquity.
Iniquity. And you said unwillingly?
Unwillingly found a habitation.
Which means it didn't really want to stay.
Why would it?
But we wanted it.
Like dew.
Didn't want wisdom, but wanted iniquity.
Like dew in a thirsty land, like rain in the desert. We wanted it. We the desert, iniquity's the rain. Oh, come on.
But y'all sent them both.
He did.
Well,
It didn't say he sent, it said they left.
left.
Wisdom, it said wisdom went forth, and then when it returned and seated herself in the midst of angels, but iniquity went forth after her return. So wisdom had to fully return for iniquity to even go out.
There's a lot there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot there. I don't know what happened. I turned my head.
I hope you're good. I hope you're good. We good back there?
I don't know. I can't hear. I thought that was interesting. How he said it. Hey, where was that?
Mm-hmm.
That drink cup. Oh, there. Oh, this right here.
That's good.
All right.
Shout out to my man Marcus who keep this joint
on
humming,
point,
man.
Marcus on point.
He be keeping it humming, man, for real. Get this dude a raise. Come on.
Iniquity was unwillingly. I mean, I don't know. That just threw me, man. It's like we don't even know what we need or what we want. We actually want what we don't need.
Yeah.
We don't appreciate or receive what is best for us as beings. Period.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of where I was going today. How I feel like we need to spend more time looking at ourselves. I mean, Yahweh has given us this opportunity ever since this pandemic. He's been checking the world.
Yeah, man.
Not just those who profess to believe or those who profess to not even acknowledge that there is a God. The whole world is being judged. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. You gotta, it starts with you. You know what I'm saying? I said it right here at this table that 2020 was gonna be a year of perfect vision. You gotta see it. 2021 was gonna be a year of tearing down, and 2022 is gonna be a year of rebuilding. As far as I'm concerned, technically, on the calendar, 2022 has begun. But if we want to stick with that timeline, we it ain't gonna begin like around March, March 20 something, 26 to 28. That's when the first month of a bid begins. Which, if you want to keep that number, that starts 2022 technically, or whatever the year is. Number wise, that's when it begins. So we really got a little bit more room for some more tearing down. And Yahweh's been breaking me down. You know what I'm saying? I'm appreciative. It's hurt. It's been a hurtful process. You know what I'm saying? Coming to figure out and understand some things about myself. But one incident in particular, and it's funny. This is what I've noticed. And I've gotten a lot more, no, I'm not going to say, a lot more sound advice from homies in the street or people who will be looked at as undesirables or whatever, or jokers that if they step foot into a church, they're going to automatically get judged because of the way they look or smell. Yeah. I've gotten a lot more pointed insight and input from those individuals than I have from deacons and elders or professed learned men of God or whatever, who just basically going to give you a bunch of Bible talk. You understand what I'm saying? But this dude, out of nowhere, he called me. I'm not going to go into specifics about that particular incident. I was upset with my father about something, right? Dude just called me. He was like, man, listen, man, if you allow it, as long as your heart lines up with the person's heart. Something he said that sounded wow, and I didn't really want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Because I was going through something else, but he called back and reiterated on it. Oh, and when he said it again, I listened. I said, you know what, brother, I got you now. I got you. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, I was just letting you know that. Oh, I was just letting you know. And I had to relax my position with my father. I had enough choice. I was like, man, I was ready to go, couldn't leave because I couldn't leave him. Put it like that. I had to stay. I'm irritated because what I wanted to do, can't do now. Yeah. Like I gotta stay here, you know what I'm saying? But because of some of the tutelage that I got from him, I knew what to do. You know what I'm saying? When the store got what I needed to get, put them in his mouth. Before I knew it, he was coming back around. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there, got on his back a little bit, got him in the truck, we rolled out. Ended up coming back, me, him, my brothers, we kicked it, had some good conversation, you know what I'm saying? Bottom line is he came back around. But had I not allowed my heart to align itself with my father, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't gonna leave him like he was, but I took him home and rolled out. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell him to go in the house, he won't go in the house, whatever the case may be. But there's a lot been going on. Me and my father, me and my brothers, right? This is Real Talk 101, the devil exposed. So whether it's, like I said, the devil out there or the devil in here, my job is to expose it. So we overcome through the power of our testimony, right? So it's one thing to be loud and right. It's another thing to be loud and wrong. You know what I'm saying? When you jump out there as if you have all the right in the world to say and do what you're saying and doing, and in your mind, to you, you may very well be right. I thought I was right until the next day the Most High he told me I was wrong. Made it a whole different situation. You know what I'm saying? Disrespectful in my tone, disrespectful in my actions towards my father, and in the sight of some other people who probably looking like, damn, I won't come across as that type of dude. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So when I get uptown today, I got to pull some certain other dudes aside and get in what the Most High gave me in regards to that situation. Now, a lot of BS happened. I'm not going to go into the specifics of everything, but I should have known better than to react and respond and say what I said. The next morning, I'm riding, you know what I'm saying, got into my little zone. The Most High was like, you was wrong, right? See, humility, I'm not a very humble person, you know what I'm saying? But I am capable of being humbled and not ducking it when I know it's coming from Yah. He said, man, you was wrong. And he replayed the situation in my mind. He said, what was you doing? What made you do that? What made you say that? Look at yourself. And I'm seeing it in my head. I'm like, Joe, why would I yell what I yelled? Like I don't know where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? But that leads me to this point or this aspect of this testimony. I don't think we know ourselves as well as we think I know. I don't think we know ourselves as well as we think we know ourselves.
Right.
Considering we've been under a delusion. I'm gonna talk at me and my brother right here, but I'm including whoever's watching this broadcast. We've been under delusion for so long. We've only been from underneath this delusion for 4 years? So we're growing up again. But as adults, we kind of like how Adam was. Adam was created a man and had to still learn and grow up, but he still failed. I don't know how long he had been here before him and his wife fumbled, but here we got 4 years into this truth, going on 5. We learned a lot of, lessons in crunch time. You know what I'm saying? You're cramming for that final exam because not even of our own choosing, we were delayed for so long with the right information. The test date was always going to be the test date. Most High knew, I'm going to let them go through everything they go through. So once I give them the information they need to pass with only 2 weeks left, they'll get it because the experience is there. We already had the experiences. Now we got the information. We know how to formulate our testimony. We know how to look at ourselves and see what we did wrong. I hope we know how to look at ourselves and see what we did wrong. I take pleasure in acknowledging my faults. You know what I'm saying? I just hate the fact that I have a tendency to continue to do it.
Right.
After I've acknowledged it. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't easy to acknowledge where you're wrong at. But if you can acknowledge you're wrong and it mean nothing, then why acknowledge that you're wrong? You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to honor our parents, father and mother, that our days will be long upon the land which Yahweh Elohim giveth us. So me fussing and cussing at my 71-year-old father, who is way more of a man than I probably will ever be, you know what I'm saying, as far as he's endured so much. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm a different type of man of Yah, as far as a man, especially a man of respect. That man is respected in the city, in the penitentiary, in the streets, and to a certain extent, that carries a whole lot of weight. You know what I'm saying? He's respected by a lot of real dudes. And my name don't ring no bells nowhere. You know what I'm saying? A few people in the church may know who Orlando Boyd is, or a few people on SoundCloud may have seen some of my stuff. So this man he's a legend in his neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? From his high school football career, baseball career, to his movements throughout the neighborhood and whatever he's done. And yet his son, his youngest son, can just, like at the drop of a dime, be disrespectful and ignorant. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't, I'm talking about this particular situation with my father because that's what happened yesterday or the day before yesterday. And the follow-up was yesterday, but it's been a lot of situations, you know what I'm saying, where I have just shot from the hip, you know what I'm saying, didn't care who was affected, how it affected them, but they say you catch more, flies with honey than you do vinegar.
Yeah, vinegar, right.
If you look at that, right, Yahweh said, I'm going to teach y'all how to catch men. And if you look at the tools that he gave his disciples of what they were supposed to do when they went out, you present this information. If it's not received, shake the dust off your feet, keep it moving. But he didn't say, I'm going to teach you how to catch men with the same way you catch fish. You catch fish in nets. You catch them with hooks. You know what I'm saying? A fish, they're real panicky in them nets. They can't go nowhere. He said, I'm going to teach y'all how to be fishers of men. You know what I'm saying? A man and a fish, two completely different creatures. You know, that fish is kind of ignorant. You know, it's gonna see that worm on that hook. It's gonna bite it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, maybe not. If he bites it and that hook in his mouth, boom, you got him. See, a human being, what's that bait? What's the hook? You know what I'm saying? How you really gonna get this person to even get close enough to you so you can get that hook in him? You know what I'm saying? What is your reel? What is your rod? What is your line? In the process of catching men, I believe it starts with humility, right? Which that's not something I naturally possess. But I thank the Most High. This is my testimony, is that I'm able to listen to him. Even if it's after the fact. Say, hindsight is always 20/20. So if I was of a mind, because I was like, man, I wasn't wrong. I know you ain't talking about me, man. It's that nigga.
He's wrong.
That nigga, you know what I'm saying? Giving the beef to somebody else who deserved a little beef because of what his participation was. And it wasn't even that I was thinking about it. All that night when I was talking about it, I was painting the picture as if my father was tripping. Everybody that heard me probably was looking at me like, oh, you lunching. Ain't nobody say nothing. Next morning, ain't nobody had to say nothing because the Most High was like, I got him. I'm going to take care of that.
Oh, man.
I'm going to check him in the morning.
He does that too.
I pulled a smack up on my father. Like, look, Dad, let me holler at you real quick. Man, I was wrong. He's like, man, I know. I was trying to tell you. I was like, man, listen, Joe. And I wasn't even drunk. I wasn't high. And that's what really threw me. But it started out, this dude got me out my character at the gas station. He pull up. And he was like, man, move your effing truck. I jumped out the truck. I said, what'd you say? He said, man, I said, can you move your truck? I said, that's not what you said. I said, what words did you use?
That's it.
He said, what you mean? I said, you said something about effing. He said, no. I said, man, I heard what you said. And I stepped towards him. That was the first time in a long time I wanted to punch him in his mouth. And I couldn't control it. I was like, man, I said, get in your truck, man. Get in your truck. Get in your truck. I'm looking at him like that, and I just kept leaning. So I'm like, hit him. Meech was like, man, stop tripping, man. And then me and him had little words back and forth, whatever. But from that point on, I was jaw like on edge. But it should have never been taken out on my father. You know what I'm saying? That's just me replaying the events of the day.
Walk through that, man.
Who
sent the dude?
You already know who sent him.
Oh, but the people got to know.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Bama was sitting in the street, right, in this truck, waiting to turn the gas. You know, a tanker, waiting to turn the gas. I'm sitting there, and I gave the beef to Meechie too, which I can't because he went to the store, left his car running. I'm finished what I'm doing. I'm about to pull off. I'm going to take my father to get something to eat, but I'm waiting because his car running. So I guess the dude felt like I was taking too long to pull off, but he pulls in and Jai like blocked Meechie's car anyway. So I left my truck in a position where he would at least have enough room to pull out Meechie.
Okay.
The dude pull in like, man, move your effing truck. And I watched his mouth through my side mirror.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what I'm saying? That guy jumped out that truck so fast. I was like been waiting for something like this. I'm like, Joe, hold up, man. Hold up. I mean, I didn't catch myself. I started laughing as I pulled off. But I was mad. And I just started laughing to myself and just started talking to my father about something else to try to bring myself back, right? And I'm not, look, it's coming. It's coming to that. It's coming to where the Most High is going to give us an opportunity to unleash this fury and this wrath, but it's got to be strategic. You can't allow your buttons to be pushed. You know what I'm saying? If anything, but it's what he said. That's like I said, man, what did you say? He changed it. And I said, what were the words that you used? Because I know what I heard. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, man, you said something about move my effort. And he was like, no, I didn't say that. I was like, I know what you said. And it just sent me. You know what I'm saying? Just like with my father, he was like, man, I can't go into everything that was said, but I heard what I heard. He knew what he meant. And what I really should have did was just shut up and mind my business. For real, because it ain't had nothing to do with me. For real. It ain't had nothing to do with me. I'm belligerently expressing my opinion about a situation that had nothing to do with me. I'm more concerned with him. He wasn't concerned. So I shouldn't have been concerned. All I got to do was keep my eyes open. But then my lack of self-control caused me to make a scene that made me look like an ass. Which I'm admittedly an asshole anyway. I've said that live. You heard it again. I can't even say I'm trying to change. Maybe that's just a character trait of mine. I don't know. You got to have an asshole there every now and then. Somebody got to keep everything balanced. But when it comes to your parents, you're supposed to honor your parents. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't honor my father in that regard. I definitely didn't honor the father in that regard. You know what I'm saying? But he saw fit to not cuss me out, not punish me, but just express to me that I was wrong. Just like that. You know that was your fault, right? He wasn't like, man, you're gonna die, you know what I'm saying? Doom and gloom. Look in the scriptures and all destruction. Nah.
That's not him.
He was like, look, that was your fault. You was wrong. I'm just like, pfft. Then it played through in my head and I saw everywhere I was wrong at.
Yeah, they'll do
If
that.
I saw that truck driver again, I'd have to apologize to him. That's just the type of person I am. You know what I'm saying? Went to a spot that charged something on my card, and I was supposed to get a refund. And I looked at my account, and I saw the charge. I didn't see the refund. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, it's been like 15 days. They said 7 to 10 days. So I went to the spot. I'm like, Joe, listen, man. But I had my bank card got compromised, so they sent me a new card out. So I'm like, maybe that's why the money didn't come back to my account, because I used a different card. Leaning on the dude behind the counter. I said, man, where your manager at? When I got the manager, another lady in line was like, man, she always doing stuff like this. So, I didn't curse at him, but I got real aggressive with the tool. I said, man, give me the number of the corporate and put your name and his name on the card too. I mean, you need to call your bank and then he gave me a printout and said they showed where the refund was sent out. And I went and set my truck, pulled up my Bank of America account, called Bank of America, like, I got all my stuff right here. As I'm scrolling back down through the transactions, I saw the debit. But I didn't realize that was below the debit was the refund. So the refund came.
You can.
But they showed the debit amount after the refund. So the balance was right, but if the refund was above it, I would have had no issue.
Right.
I was like, man, I gotta go in here and apologize to these people, Joe.
Oh boy.
So I went in the joint. The dude was coming out the back. I said, listen, man, I was gonna extend my hand, but I just gave my fist. He gave me a little weak. John said, man, I apologize. I was wrong. So the dude behind the glass, I apologized. I was wrong. And the same lady that was like, yeah, he be tripping. He said, man, she was like, that's what's up. And I stepped up.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, man, yo, that's beautiful. I'll be out hearing what is happening.
Testimonies. That was a testament
The
to that
whole
woman.
from top
and
to
of course, I
bottom.
had We the Chosen People on my chest.
Man,
You know what I'm saying? If we don't see this, we don't see the necessity, the need. These people, the majority of the people around us, family members, us, if you in the category of us, you know what I'm saying, or you put yourself in that position where you're a teacher or you feel yourself to be learned, you have to understand that the majority of the people around you aren't necessarily on your level, but you may not be on theirs either. I'm not on my father's level. He may not be on my level spiritually, but I'm not on his level as a man. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody that has experienced and endured penitentiary life, all types of addiction, marriage, success, and failure. You know what I'm saying? He's got actually raising children. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to just producing them. I owe that man a tremendous debt of gratitude, and me just allowing myself to flip off, it's not acceptable. Not to me, and it shouldn't be acceptable from any child or their parent. But I know there's a lot worse situations out there. There are a lot of parents going through a lot worse, getting cussed out by their kids, getting their hands put on them by their kids. Those kids deserve death. You know what I'm saying? You dishonor your parents, your life could be cut short, and you look at it like, man, what happened?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I try to honor my parents. And that's just, I'm saying that to say this. As we wake up, right, And as we try to become more in tune to the Most High, let's listen, listen to the Most High telling us, or try to hear when he's telling you, because he's going to always show you when you've wronged somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's going to always, well, at least he's going to try to show you whether or not you accepting of it, something completely different. But I try to keep my ears open to hear if I did or said something wrong. Now, granted, sometimes if I'm twisted, I may not remember. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But if he brings it to my mind, there's no argument.
None.
Can't argue, whether I remember it or not. He was like, man, and somebody comes to me and confirms that, the least I can do is apologize. If I can't make up for whatever was done, you can't take it back. Can't take back any of those words or anything that was done. But to acknowledge you're wrong, you know what I'm saying? We say go make amends. You say if you wronged your brother, you bring that sacrifice.
Yeah, make it
leave
right
that dead.
First.
Leave the sacrifice there. Go make it right with your brother, because y'all ain't gonna accept it if you don't go make that situation right with your brother. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's your blood brother or a homie or whatever. And that's why I try to keep the channel clear of all dysfunction and confusion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So at any given time, when Yahweh needs to use me, he can use me.
Let us never be in that position where Most High got the lines of communication closed with him. As you were speaking, man, two verses kept coming to my mind. And the first one, I found this verse this week and didn't even realize the full meaning of it until you said what you said, because you're saying the same thing. It came from Tobit chapter 4, verse 19. It says, it's counsel of how to treat everyday life, how to have the right perspective. And it says, bless Yahuwah Elohaikum always, and desire of him that your ways may be directed. Always want the Most High to direct your ways, and that all your paths and counsels may prosper. For every nation has not counsel, but Yahuwah himself gives all good things, and he humbles who he will, as he will. See, that whole thing he just talked about with the Father playing, I call it playing detective with the Spirit. He goes back and he shows you every instance where you were wrong. You see it clearly. As if you didn't see it in the moment, because you was in that mind in the moment. And you just runaway locomotive train. But when he goes back and shows you every single thing, and then you have the humility. Let me tell y'all something. Humility to the Father is so sweet. When somebody listens to him, because you got to understand, he respects our power of choice. Mm-hmm. So if we choose not to listen to him, he going to respect it. But what a good thing it is for us in his sight when we choose life and listen to him. And go, man, I'm telling you, if you have instances in your life where you have been prideful, you're like, man, I ain't going back and saying, I'm sorry. Are you trying in your own mind to find a way that you can come out of this right when you know you're wrong? Abandon that. Because that is damnable pride and damnable arrogance, inching towards the level of Satan. Because that's the reason why he in the position he in. He had chances. He had more opportunities. But he chose to continue to go in the path that he was in, and ultimately you see where he at. Let us never be in that position. The other thing that came to my mind is another verse that one of my boys brought to me, Revelation chapter 12, verse 11. And he made it plain when he brought it to me. He was like, yo, you know how we overcome the enemy and all his mess? Revelation says it clearly in verse 11, chapter 12. It says, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, first, which has already been shed, and the word of their testimony. He breaks down what that means. Can't nobody tell, that the Most High did not reach out to you after that incident with your father and say, you know you was wrong. That's a testimony right there. The fact that you heard his voice, you reacted to it, and then you acted according to his counsel, and you even got favorable, like the woman who you said. So it's like, he always be doing that. And then she said, that's what's up. That right there can spill off into her having a better day. It can roll over like a snowball into her going back and apologizing to somebody that she wrong. Because that's how the Spirit works. She saw an instance where somebody humbled themselves and apologized. And that Spirit was like, you know what? You need to do the same thing. And now she has more of a mind to do it.
And an apology, I mean, it's not like, you know what I'm saying, you pulling your teeth out and giving it to somebody. It's just an acknowledgement of the fact that you wronged somebody.
That's it.
If that can't be done, then how far gone are we? Spiritually, emotionally.
Say
you know
that.
what I'm saying? If you can't look at a situation, even if the situation wasn't completely your fault, because it wasn't completely my fault, but I added to it. I put my BS in it. I volunteered my BS to a situation that had nothing to do with me, which in turn made me look like even more of a fool. Bam it all the way out. You know what I'm saying? Cold-blooded, yeah. And to me, in order for me to clear my own conscience of how stupid I made myself look, I gotta apologize to the people I made myself look stupid in front of. I'm sorry for putting that in front of your eyes. I'm sorry for making you have to see me look like that, or subjecting your ears to the ignorant stuff I said. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what you really. That's like, was it brotherly? Whatever the term is, you know what I'm saying? You care more about another person than you do about yourself. I'm not trying to poison you. You know what I'm saying? With my and you know my BS, my nonsense. What I was gonna say would be a whole nother broadcast because we got to dig into that too at some point. But it's just an apology.
Empathy, you know? Man. People are always watching, and it's the thing is the people that are watching this, most of them be people we don't know. I had a similar situation in the grocery store last week, and I'm only remembering it now and the gravity of it because when it happened, I was like, well, you know, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do, I guess. But as I think about it, I consider now who all was brought into the situation I'm about to explain, and how many more people bore witness to my behavior in the person I was dealing with. I'm in a grocery store. I get just over 25 items, so I can't go in the short lane. So I go into this woman's, her checkout joint, and she's checking my stuff out. Halfway through her checking my stuff, her computer freezes. So she can't check out nothing. The joint won't ring nothing. If you scan it, it ain't gonna pick up nothing. And she started getting frantic. And the thing was, she was an older lady. Like, so I look at her, I see people like my mother. So, you know, she's like, how you doing? You know, they always greet. And I said, how you doing, sweetheart? And I said her name, you know, and we started talking, having died. I say, well, you know, the Most High been good. And I'm just talking. And then as soon as we start talking, that's where her screen frees up. And she goes into a frantic, so now I got people behind you. Because there was people behind me. There's only like 3 lanes open, and people was packing. So she starts getting friendly. I was like, it's okay. These things happen. So she gets on the phone. She makes 3 calls to whatever back office in the same store she's calling. Don't nobody come out after 3 calls. Then when a woman does come out, she comes out, comes over and looks at the computer screen. I'm seeing her go tap, so I'm thinking she's fixing it. She does not fix it, but she leaves and goes behind another counter, but does not tell my checkout person what is going on. Now, let me tell you what's going on through my mind. Because initially, I told her I had just finished working out. I was tired. I was like, I ain't in no rush. I'm just chilling. And she says, well, bless you for that, because I don't know about the people behind you. They may be in a rush. So I was like, you know, it's whatever. And then as the time started ticking off the clock, I started getting frustrated. I was like, because the woman who came to help, she didn't communicate. And then when she did communicate, she had an accent, so it wasn't clear what she said. Then she had a mask on, so it was even more difficult to understand what she was saying. So when she left to go behind the other counter, my cash person is like, I still got to ring him out. I was like, what are you going to do? She said, tell him to bring his stuff over here. It had been like 2 or 3 minutes. She hadn't told none of us nothing. She just went over there. It was like she went to go work a whole nother issue. So I'm looking at her, I was like, why you ain't say nothing? In that moment, I remember when I had that thought. Like, yeah, why you ain't say nothing? Most I was like, remain calm. Remain, don't even say anything. Pick your stuff up. Help the woman who is your kids, put your stuff back in your basket. Just take it over her. She'll ring you out. By that time, at least 10, 12 people looking in our situation. Because people are stacking up in the line that woman went over to. So we got a congregation of people now. Right. Everybody frustrated. I'm like, it's all right now. It's okay. And when she went over there, I was like, oh, things is going great. I uplifted my tone. I did it on purpose. And I'm going to tell you where this came from, because I'm walking you through this, because this is what the Spirit was doing. I was like, I want to be amplified in trying to pacify this situation now, because one, I heard the Spirit speak. So I know what he wants me to do. And I want to be completely obedient. But not only that, I want to go above and beyond. Because when the blessing that I need later on in the week comes, I know he's going to overdo it. So my mindset now is like, how can I make him more happy in the situation I'm in right now? And when you get to that mindset of trying to please the Most High in whatever test that you're going through, and I'm preaching to myself, when that happens and you go above and beyond, you wait and see. You talking about sins being blotted out. You talking about iniquities being removed far from you. You talking about blessings that are being stored up for you that are going to start descending. You don't even know when they're going to fall. But the Most High says in his word that he's going to do that. I seek for nothing but the glory and satisfaction and the pleasure of my Father in heaven, because I know he can bless like no other. I know he can forgive like nobody else can. I ain't going into some Catholic church and confessing to somebody who got to breathe the same air as me, got the same. No, they ain't God. They ain't Elohim. They ain't nothing. They a man just like me. I ain't doing that. Only thing I'm doing it for is him and his approval. And when that happened, I left the store, went and got in my car, but the thought going back to my car was like, because I know the devil will come after me later, and I may slip up, and that's going to frustrate me. But right here, I stuck it to that nigga. Because everybody around, if they at least saw my behavior and saw how I maintained my cool in a situation that was, everybody else was stressing, but it was slight. And I was like, I ain't going to be here all day. Y'all go check out my food. My food ain't going to expire on the conveyor belt.
But more than that, what effect did that have on that cashier? You know what I'm saying? Because
exactly.
She got frustrated. If you would have got frustrated with her,
I
would have threw the rest of her day off. So we only that's what we really don't recognize, that's the effect that we have on other people. Their days. Like you said, that woman witnessing that, where I was at, could have affected the rest of her day. You being patient with that young lady could have, could have, I'm positive it eased her anxiety about the fact that I got a long line now. I got this man here. You know what I'm saying? I got halfway through his stuff. He's so nice in conversation with me, and then the screen freezes up. But that's what the enemy do.
That's what he do, man.
He throws little, and it's supernatural stuff because it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Man.
It doesn't make any sense as to why that's what happened. I mean, same thing happened to me today. I'm in BJ's. You know, I got my father's food stamp card, and I got my card to pay for my toilet paper and stuff like that. I was like, man, I had $160. I swiped the card. I knew the PIN number. For some reason, in this moment, I couldn't remember it. You know what I'm saying? So I put it in backwards. The first time I did it and it didn't go in, I told the lady, I said, look, take $164 off of this, and I'm going to pay for the rest of it with my card. So everything was separated. I swiped the card, asked for the PIN number, put the PIN number in, didn't accept the PIN number. I called my father. As I'm calling him, I put it in again. He didn't answer the phone. I called him again. I put the PIN number in again. I called by the third time I called him, he answered the phone, asked the girl to do it again, and said, the card, it wouldn't register. I had already did it 3 times and it locked the card. Right? Man, I'm hot. I had already went out to the truck and took my coat off and took my my scully off and just put my mask on because I'm in that joint sweating, walking through BJ. I got all type of layers on. I'm standing up there, people coming behind me. And BJ, they got big carts. Yeah. It's a whole lot.
Sam's, yeah.
And the girl, the cashier, she wasn't tripping. She was like, man, we can get this squared away. Yeah. I'm like, man, I hope he got enough money on the card. He said it was blah, blah, blah on the card. He's like, man, he's telling me, man, it's the girl at the register. I said, nah, that ain't her fault. It's not her fault. Man, she don't know what she's doing. I said, Dad, it ain't got nothing to do with her. The PIN number is not registering. Right. I think I put the PIN number in wrong. But believe it or not, we ended up getting somebody on the phone through customer service for the card. The card, I ain't got it with me.
They usually take forever.
I'm thinking it now even open on the weekends. Yeah. It's Sunday. I wasn't expecting to talk to a human being.
Right.
I kept trying to call. And I was like, man, F it, I'm about to put everything. I'm about to just leave this mess right here. Yeah. Roll out. I was like, I got stuff there I wanted to eat some of the stuff that I had. You know what I'm saying? when I get to the house, and I knew I needed some other stuff. Right. I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, got my father on the phone. First customer service lady, she was like, I told her, I got my father's card. He's elderly. I went to the store for him. She said, no, he needs to be right there. I said, well, hold on, let me call him. I click over. By the time I get him on the phone and try to murder shit, hung up. You know what I'm saying? So I call again, and it wouldn't even let me get to a person. So you already know, I'm pissed off. And then there's all types of music playing and people talking, so they're telling you to say this or say that, and it's affecting the call. Man, I was in that joint. I was in the line for about 35 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Before everything got worked out, and the girl who, like a supervisor or whatever, she finally took me over to one other side. I separated some stuff because, my purpose was to pay for with that food stamp card. You could pay half and double the joint. Like, I ain't had that type of money. But the fact, and I knew the PIN number, but I couldn't remember it. And I put it in wrong 3 times. Actually, I really think I put it in right. But that was just for the purpose of frustrating my day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because we ended up coming in here. You had a similar experience last week. I had an experience today. You know what I'm saying? That's how the Most High ties everything together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He brings it around. But I knew all I could do was stay calm. I went outside where it was cooler at. You know what I'm saying? It helped me calm down. Because I'm thinking to myself, Joe, I know the money there. I know my father ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? And look, brother, I called the number and read the numbers off the card. So he asked for the 16-digit card number. For some reason, the numbers couldn't be seen. Like every other number couldn't be seen on the card, right? And then when I looked at the card the next time, it was like one of the numbers had turned itself to the side.
What?
I'm gonna leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it turned itself to, the number was at a different angle than the rest of the numbers. Not to get a nigga no credit. Not to get the devil no credit. I'm talking about the extents he will go to try to pull you out of your character or throw you off, especially me and this brother. I know what he be going through. And the stuff, supernatural. That's the only term I can apply to it. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't make any sense in this realm. So it has to be something outside of us happening. Phones tripping, you know what I'm saying? Drivers, people doing crazy stuff around you on the road, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? It's if we can keep ourselves even. Don't get too excited, don't get too depressed. You know what I'm saying? The enemy has no win. That's what we need to, and be conscious of how what we do and say affects others. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I won't even talk because I don't trust how what I want to say is going to come out. And when I don't say nothing, it's like I don't care. All I'm going to be doing is repeating myself because I've said it before. But if you're looking to hear something a certain way, in order for you to receive it, and I may not be the best person to talk to because I'm not necessarily going to say it the way you want to hear it. I'm going to tell you what needs to be said. But even with saying that, maybe that's something I could start practicing. I already know what you want to hear. Right? So how can I factor in what you need to hear in a way that you want to hear it?
Digestible.
You know what I'm saying? And spoon feed it to you like that. That's going to be a challenge. Maybe that's the challenge. I'm going to challenge myself with that this week.
Dealing with babes.
Yeah, dealing with babes, man.
And milk.
Babes and milk. But all praise to the Most High for this growth process, this tearing down. Because I'm like, this ain't too much more. I ain't got too much more left to be torn down, man. It done broke me down, Joe. The fact that because I think back on other situations, how many times have I been loud and wrong thinking I was right and he just didn't say nothing? He didn't say nothing to me, so I never looked at it. This situation, I didn't see where I was wrong until he told me, you was wrong. That was your fault. That wasn't his fault. It definitely wasn't your father. And I went back and I looked at it and I'm listening to what my father was saying. I'm looking at his reaction. He's like, man, basically he wanted to tell me, man, shut the and get back in your truck. I'm like, dang, but I wasn't drunk. That's what really got me. That's what kind of shook me. I said, Joe, I wasn't even twisted. And the other time, I got alcohol as an excuse. I could fall back on alcohol. I wasn't drunk. So that was just me naturally being ignorant. That's scary. You know what I'm saying? When you don't know that that's what you're doing, but you're clearly affecting other people. Most I was like, nah, that was your fault. You get that beef. You can't get that beef to nobody else. Oh, like I said, I had to go apologize to the old man. He was like, I know. He said, I was trying to tell you, but he wasn't talking to me. He was cussing me out, though. He said some vicious stuff, but he said it away from me. He said some vicious. I'm reminded of some of the stuff he said today when I see him too. Man, he said some vicious stuff. It would have broken. I'm glad I didn't receive it as it was to me. Might have brought tears to my eyes, man. Stuff. I'm like, Dad, you ain't never talked to me like that. But honor your father and your mother, Joe. They hear. Especially if you still got them. Yeah, man. We in our 40s. Yeah. You still got your mother and your father, man. You better appreciate them and cherish them while they're here.
Absolutely.
Everybody ain't still got their parents, especially if they're together. You better appreciate that. Spend as much time with them as you can.
Yeah. That's what these experiences are for, man. To bring recollection. How could we ever say that we do not know the Most High when we've had experiences like this? When the guns are put to the side of our heads telling us to renounce that which we believe in, how can we forget these types of things? Death is going to be with a sweet sleep, and it's going to be mad short. And when I wake up, I know what I'm going to see. Matter of fact, I know what's going to happen before my soul comes to fruition because it's written in this word. And now that I've known all these things and I've experienced the Father like that, my challenge to you all this week is this. We come on here on a weekly basis and we share these types of revelations and testimonies with you. But what are the types that you have? The one Sunday this week, if we don't have the program I'm planning to have on the third Sunday of this week, we're gonna open up the phone lines. And I want some people to call in and testify. You share some testimonies and get to practice in there. If you have people that you know you can confide in and testify to and tell similar like stories to where the Father or his Ruach led you through a situation that you went through and showed you either the success or the failure on your part, and you had a role to play to humble yourself, those are worth telling. Because the Father always does it in love. You got to understand that too. This conversation between him and the Father happened when he got back in the truck. It didn't happen in front of everybody right then and there, how the devil would have loved to happen. The devil loves to embarrass you. He wants to have you all the way out there. After you do what he's told you to do, he wants you to leave, hang you out to dry, and point at you, say, and then what he does, he points at you and looks at the Father. Say, I told you he was dumb. Told you he was sinful and stupid. And that's how they all are. He wants to throw your mistakes in the Father's. He didn't care about you. He don't care about none of us. He don't. He just wants to upset the Father and bring shame to his name. But that ain't going to happen. The Father will deal with you in private. And these types of things, like if O said that he never had that conversation with the Spirit, or he denied the types of things that the Spirit was bringing back to his mind with the situation that happened with his father, if he denied that, that would be blaspheming the Spirit, quenching it.
You know what's crazy? That a lot of people may not be able to receive, but it don't even really matter because this is real talk. I'll go as far as to say this. Had I not tapped that J 2 times that morning, I may not have heard the Spirit. Because my mind was somewhere else. Had I not opened my mind up, you know what I'm saying? Because I was combating BS that I knew was coming from tapping the J. You know what I'm saying? All the mess the enemy get to spend in there too.
Yeah, man.
I was dealing with all of that. You know what I'm saying? Trying to find some music to listen to. I put on 90.9, classical, try to, get my mind back and cussing myself out while you did. But in the midst of all of that, it was like everything just kind of stopped for a second. He was like, no, that was your fault.
Ooh, yeah, when he silenced.
I'm like, oh man. I'm like, man, I was just so glad that he said something to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't just left to get beat up by the demons. You know what I'm saying? I was like, Joe, because I already knew. I was like, I'm about to start tripping. I should have never tapped that J.
He silenced everything.
Everything just got quiet.
Yeah, I love that. Oh,
like, you
was
wrong, right? You owe your father an apology. And then boom, everything replayed in my mind. And I was like, I saw every instance where I was a fool. And I was like, okay, I got it.
Oh, man.
I got it. Enough said. And needless to say, I ain't tapping J no more. It served its purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want to be high.
Right.
I just hit the joint a couple times. Bop, bop. And as I'm sitting there, like I said, going through that little fake depression that comes with it, he was like, you was wrong. Man, thank you. And I felt better after that. For real. Went on with the rest of my day. But I ain't know, was you going to say something?
That's it.
I'm like this, right? I want everybody to know this. I don't necessarily always feel like this about myself, but it's something different about our generation. It's something different about each generation. But those who were born, I'm going to say between 78 and 84, 74 to 84, 10 years, it's something different about us in this day. The individuals who are from that age, that timeline, that are alive today, there's something different about us from everybody else. We are different. You know what I'm saying? We all are special in the eyes of the Most High. But anybody that's from that time frame that's taking this journey, you know what I'm saying? You might be a little leery of change or going against tradition. But just know the only person that really got your back is the Most High. You know what I'm saying? When we stepped out in my comfort zone, and it still is uncomfortable at times. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not as far as what we receive or accept as truth. That's concrete. There's nothing. That's immovable. But some situations still got a level of uncomfortableness. You know what I'm saying? Uncomfortability or whatever. And I want to warn, caution you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm noticing more and more songs. I don't listen to a whole lot of gospel music, but I'm noticing more and more songs using the name of the Most High. Not the name, using the term the Most High. They may say Yahweh. They may say Yahshua in this music. You may even hear it from pulpits, right? But the bottom line, don't lose sight of the fact that the Most High said, come out of her. First, you need to know what that her is. What that system, who's being referred to in that term, her? What is the her? You know what I'm saying? Who is that harlot? Who is that woman riding on that scarlet colored beast? You know what I'm saying? History has shown that prophecy is talking about the papacy, the papal system. Just know that. Look at what has come under that papal system. The papal system is the mother of all churches. You know what I'm saying? So if you're being told to come out, it's about coming out of that system. But if they're implementing truth into these systems now, imagine how much stickier and how much more complicated it's going to be to get out of that. You hear us talk about the name. Most people are like, man, that doesn't matter. Now you're about to start hearing your pastor talk about it. You're about to start hearing the revelation, the what they call them people, the evangelists, you know what I'm saying, in these different religions where they may transition from Jesus, from God. They may say the Most High Yah. They may say Yeshua or even Yahshua. You know what I'm saying? But if they're still pushing these doctrines, yeah, thank you. These doctrines and these ordinances that come down from this system that is still in pocket with the papacy, you got to see it. It's about an individual decision. Don't let yourself get roped. If somehow you was loosening the ropes that this organizational religious stuff had on you, then the enemy was like, hold on, I'm losing them. But let me factor into a little bit of what I know is waking people up. Let me put a little bit of that in there. You know what I'm saying? Just to make them feel like they're included in this movement. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're hearing the same thing that they're saying, but look at the setting. You're hearing it from us outside of that setting. We've come out of that. We've come away from it. You know what I'm saying? And not going to return to it.
No.
Ain't got no desire to. There's nothing that can be changed about that will make me feel comfortable going back to that. He's brought us out of that. If anything, that needs to come to where we're at.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen. It ain't about us going back. That thing need to change completely and step up to where we're at. So don't get sucked in. All the way across the board, whether you Baptist, whether you Adventist, whether you Methodist, if you're a part of an organized religion and you're starting to hear like some of the stuff that we've been saying, starting to come from the pulpit. Yeah, all right, you say you got to start somewhere. But if they're not telling you to seek for yourself and get away from this delusion, if that's not being said from the pulpit, it's just something to keep you more and more roped in. That's what I feel like the Spirit wanted me to say, because I know I've seen it myself. I see it on TV. I used to watch Dr. Charles Stanley and, of course, the Amazing Facts dude. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, Doug Batchelor. You know what I'm saying? And even T.D. Jakes and Joel Osteen. I used to watch all them jokers, especially when I was locked up. But because when I was there, I just felt like the only difference was they go to church on Sunday, I go to church on Saturday.
Right.
I really looked at it like that was the only difference.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? But the more I started digging into religion and what religion is, especially Christianity, especially what the church is, I started looking at everything completely different. They share some similarities. They worship the same God. They do, regardless of what day they go to church on. Most High Yahweh is not the God that they're worshiping. He is not the Elohim of the church. He's the Elohim of the Hebrews. He's the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And we are descendants of them. There was a distinct separation between those individuals and pagans. All churchianity is now, it's pagan, it's modern day paganism. There is no Elohim involved in that. You got to separate yourself from it. Not to say the Spirit isn't capable of working and moving in those situations, because God, Most High, can do whatever He wants to do. But to the individual, you got to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. That's what Mother used to always tell us. You got to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Don't worry about what the church is doing. If you feel like there's truth coming from this table, don't worry if it starts coming from the pulpit or not. If you start hearing it from the pulpit, it may cloud up the actual point that the Most High wants you to get that's coming from this table, which is to come away from that, not get pulled back into it. Go into these books for yourself. Develop a personal relationship with the Most High through the power of His Ruach HaKodesh for yourself. You don't need your pastor and a board of elders and what they call them, conferences, or you know what I'm saying? You don't need them to tell you how to believe, what to believe, or what not to believe. Look at what your ancestors went through. If you even know, if you don't know, or if you don't care, again, it ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? But for those who really want to know and really want to see what's really going on, my advice to you is, like Yahweh said, come out of her. Come out of her. And then He'll start waking you up. Then He'll really start, you got some new knowledge. You know what I'm saying? It's not new, it's just been revealed, it's been hidden. And now it's being revealed. But if you really want to know, if you really want the Most High to open your eyes, you got to come away from that delusion. Or you're just not going to be able to see it. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got. Bow your heads. Most High Yahweh, thank you for allowing your Ruach to be present with us in studio today. Yahweh, forgive us for all of our many iniquities. You know what we go through on a daily basis, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It's rough. You know what I'm saying? This tearing down phase has been rough. And I'm looking forward and anticipating what the rebuilding looks like. And I know it's already been started. The foundation was never disrupted, but the structure that was on that foundation, you had to tear it all the way to the ground. And I appreciate that. Cleanse our minds of whatever doesn't need to be there. Protect us and save us from ourselves. I ask that I lift up the same prayer request that Brad prayed in the beginning. Now you know what we're going through. You know who's going through it. Individuals who are hurting, people who experience loss of loved ones, loss of finances, loss of job. And some people may have gained too much throughout this time. And the objective is, keep us even, y'all. So we ain't got too much, so we don't have too little. So we're not looking to try to do more for ourselves than what you would have for us, or cursing you for not giving us enough. Put us where you need us to be. Put us where you would have us to be. Be with our families. Protect us going into this next week. I know it's going to be rough. Forgive me for how I interacted with my father, as well as how I've interacted with a lot of people in my past. The inability to be empathetic in the moment, but may come back on the back end. I don't want to continue to be like that. I'd rather catch it up front than opposed to have to come back on the back end and apologize. I don't have a problem with apologizing, but I don't want to continue to be like that. So moving forward in this week, I know you're going to present the situations and opportunities, y'all. Just give me the patience and the wisdom to understand what I should say, what I shouldn't say, when I should say it, and how I should say it. That's my prayer for myself and anybody else who has that same desire. Be with this studio, continue to bless their efforts. You're in control of whatever our future is here. Mm-hmm. It's in your hands, whatever we do as a unit or as individuals. But one thing about that, Real Talk 101, the devil exposed is yours. And whatever you choose to do with it, that's what I'm with. So that's in your hands. I pray and ask you be with my man Matt's cousin. I'm not sure if she was found yet. I pray and ask that you work that situation. I hope I don't leave here and hear some bad news, but yeah, I'm praying that she's okay. My man Horse, haven't seen him in a while. I know that surgery had got prolonged, but you sent us up there to pray. When we did, we laid down that cover prayer. So I believe he's still covered, y'all, but I don't know what's going on with him. You know what's going on. I'm lifting him up right now, y'all. She be with my daughter. She made a decision to move back to Alabama, protect her and keep her while she's down there, as well as my other family members. Thank you for allowing my brother's test to come back negative. Continue to be with his health. My sister, my other brothers, all of our families, y'all, collectively, but specifically, you know what individuals are going through. I can't remember what everybody's going through, y'all. Man, relationships, y'all, I'll just put it like that. You know. And I forgive me for not interceding like I should, as often as I should. That's my fault. And don't take it out on my family, please. In Yahushua's name, I mean.
Man. It's been Real Talk 101, the devil exposed, on a Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4 p.m. Till the next time we meet, may Yah bless and keep you.
Seek truth and not the traditions of men.
Whoever drinks of the water that I will give him shall never thirst. But the water that I will give him shall become in him a well of water, springing up to eternal life. That living water. Hey, hey, that living water. Hey, hey, that living water. I grew wiser and I'm seeing now that God sees all. I seek the righteous in his sight. There's no way I could fall. Pop my head's up. Now that I'm seeing the sky's the limit. Biggie, I'm still overflow if you just rim it. Feel me? One of the few that still do it with the spirits in me. So all my true soldiers got to get with me and get go. It's through his grace and mercy. He walked out the room full of enemies, no blood on his feet. Nah, they under me. fighting demons against me and it's a slaughter. They need help, I'm Mike Phelps in living water. Try harder, daily we die for that living water. Hey, so we can come alive in that living water. Hey, your enemies slaughter to this living water. Yeah, 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 no borders to this living water. Yeah, yeah, daily we die for that living water. Hey, so we can come alive in that living water. Hey, your enemies slaughter to this living water. Yeah, 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 no borders to this living water. Bask in his presence, doubt and depression can't last in his presence. Found my path in his presence. Just praise, you don't have to ask when he's present. For you are now connected with heaven, running with blessings. I'm a death for better, it shivers, it's like my slaughter. Flow like the river, I'm planted by these waters. With wells in dry places, and life in more faces. Ain't nothing can replace this, living without borders. Bursting with the life of the Lord. Hold up, even if we're chased by swords, the Red Sea was only dry cause it was time for the redeemed to walk through. So walk through, straight to your breakthrough. Let the wells overflow, overtake you. And if you need a refill, Elam awaits you. You can rest there, we rest here cause his presence is Elam. Praise him now even if you don't feel him, and watch us come alive. Daily we die for that living water, so we can come alive in that living water. Hey, your enemies slaughter to this living water. Yeah, 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 no borders to this living water. Yeah, yeah, daily we die for that living water. Hey, so we can come alive in that living water. Hey, your enemies slaughter to this living water. Yeah, 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 no borders to this living water. He who believes in me, as the scripture said, from his innermost being shall flow rivers of living water. And in that day, living waters will flow out of Jerusalem. Half of them toward the eastern sea, and the other half toward the western sea. And it'll be in summer as well as in winter. And the Lord will be king over all the earth. And in that day, the Lord will be the only one, and his name, the only one. And then he showed me a river of the water of life, as clear as crystal, coming from the throne of God and of the Lamb. And in the middle of the street, on either side of the river, was the tree of life, bearing 12 kinds of fruit. And it yielded its fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. My God, that water is alive. My God. So always take the time to bask in his presence. Doubt and depression can't last in his presence. Found my path in his presence. Just praise, you don't have to ask when he's present. For you are now connected with heaven, running with blessings. I'm a death for bitter, it shivers, it's like my slaughter. Flow like the river, I'm planted by these waters. With wells in dry places, and life in more faces. Nothing can replace this life with no borders.